I'm James Eric Ritchie. I run the Taos School of Massage. We're a school that focuses on body-mind clearing as a type of special massage that we do. That's maybe a little different than another school. That's a unique synthesis of deep tissue work, applied kinesiology, and body-centered facilitation skills within the self-expression model of healing. A lot of that is fluff for some people. Some people know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of times instead of deep tissue, they say soft tissue mobilization. I like that term. That's pretty good. Sometimes they say sports massage. Some types of sports massage are deep tissue. Some are applied kinesiology. And a couple schools have taken my model of sports massage and used it in their school. I've also do enough other things so that we're approved by the New Mexico Board of Massage Therapy so that a person can become licensed in New Mexico and many other states with this type of training, along with the national test. So this is very similar to other programs. One of the ways that might be a little bit different is the work that we do works a lot with the body-mind connection. We emphasize more than usual listening to the person. And I want to listen to them, or to you right now, in a way that enhances your listening of yourself, so that you actually have more awareness and more listening of yourself as you're doing it. It's just great. So I try to listen to people in a way that they listen to themselves, and so I try not to tell them what they should do or shouldn't do, but I try to ask them questions of what works for them. And in my school, we do a lot of corrective exercises and self-awareness exercises in the morning to learn how to do things. And we do a lot of movement to learn muscle. So I'll say, put your hand on this muscle and then raise your arm up. Okay, that's your deltoid muscle. And a lot of people don't know that. So that's a very useful way to learn about muscles, because if you can't raise your arm, a person can't raise their arm like this, then the deltoid might be a good muscle to work on. And if you know what muscle moves what, instead of what it does in the book, that's often more useful if you really go over it in school instead of just read about it or think about it a little bit. If you actually experience it, and I say, okay, that's the muscle you're using to do that. Major muscle. Well, we're often using 10 muscles to do something, right? When I do this, I'm also using the supraspinatus. So I know to work this whole shoulder girdle, I don't have to work one muscle either, even though I address one muscle maybe more than another. It's usually I have to work a whole area to free it up, and sometimes a whole body. The main reason I started my school was to teach. I love to teach. And there's no schools of massage here when I started, so I started. And I've taught at UNM, I've taught at Northern down in Espanola. And the other thing that I do is like sports injuries. Person can walk in with a sprained ankle and on crutches and walk out without the sprained ankle. An hour and a half later. That's amazing. I go, it always surprises me that happens. A person with whiplash for 20 years, I can work on them sometimes 15 minutes and they can start to, the range of motion increases in their neck. What is that? We weren't taught that in grade school. You know, and I go, people with low back pain, sometimes it takes longer, but sometimes in one session it's gone. That's pretty cool. That's the rehab stuff, the self-awareness of the body, body-mind connection, doing a lot of work for just self-care. Most of my students walk out doing more self-care than usual. And one just called a couple years ago and said, I've been doing this work for 15 years and there's people, they do it for 2 years and they're burnt out. And they go, I couldn't figure out why you were giving us all those exercises. And it has paid off so much. And she was just very grateful. And one of my great principles is what works for you? Do it twice as much, twice as often. And what doesn't work for you? Do it half as much, half as often. And that is a great line. Most of us can do incredible things if we get in touch with it. You know, in touch with it, that's kind of a massage talk.